Man, today was a busy day in the markets, and the SPY is actually less the SPY and more the Nasdaq, huh? Like
Yeah, it's such a weird.
ARK
Well,
is up
like
1%.
yeah, back in August of last year, whenever the bottom formed on SPY, I'm gonna bring it up actually because it's just really interesting. Some guy that I've been talking to brought this to my attention and it was just really fascinating. Let's go to a new drawing set.
And what is this now?
So this is just the SPY. Um, well, ES futures, same thing. But last year in October or September, I guess, whenever we made this bottom, yeah, October. Damn, that was like 3 days from today is when we bottomed out. This day was the day that CPI came in, the hottest it ever was. So it was like the worst CPI reading possible that we've had.
Right.
And that was the day that we marked the bottom. And from the low of day to the high of day, it was wow, 190 fucking points. That's crazy.
It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Wow, that's crazy. So from the low of day to the high of day, that was a 190 point move. To put it in perspective, like the average daily range on the ES futures is like 50 points. So that was like almost 4x. Yeah, 4x pretty much the average daily move. And that was on the worst possible news we've ever had. So it's kind of common, I feel like, whenever we get some kind of really shitty news in the overall market, that's going to mark. Like whenever you get really bad news and one thing is supposed to happen and the opposite happens, that usually is like a really good indicator for a bottom. And last Friday, we had non-farm payroll come out, and it was like probably the worst NFP that we've had in like probably ever. It was off by like 180,000 jobs, which is a fucking lot. And that was after they already revised it by like 60K extra jobs. And then you can see here, like we went down really hard and then we rallied from that low, like 120 points. So a lot of people are saying that, like, since that news was so terrible, like on the initial reaction, it was a 50 point drop. And then throughout the day, we rallied 100 points from that low. So
Mm.
that's another good example of like whenever something is supposed to happen and the news is leading in one direction, the complete opposite happens and it's extremely strong. That's usually a good sign that like a bottom may have formed. So this might be like a short-term bottom right here last Friday. And now we're just
Interesting.
rallying like crazy off of that.
Market really doesn't make sense most of the time, huh? I mean, you got the massive attacks going on in the Middle East right now, and the market is just having one of its biggest green days on
Like
back
even
to
this
two big green days back to back.
yeah, like this gap down that happened Sunday was because of the attacks. And then we just rallied like crazy through it. Like
Otherwise, it's
this is a
hard to tell the
huge gap.
sign. Yeah,
That's a huge gap on the futures. 30 points is like you never see a 30 point gap ever. And you could scroll back forever and you'll never find a 30 point gap. Like, usually it's like this, 8 points.
right.
But
Yeah, it's insane, huh? Absolutely insane.
yeah, people are definitely trying to like short this move and are just getting crushed, including me.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So you're short bias then mostly right now,
I
or
mean, not really. I just was shorting. I went short today a couple times, even though I definitely shouldn't have. And I gave back the money I made yesterday. So I'm red on the week like $100 now.
yeah, it's definitely not a short kind of environment. It's really more of a follow the trend and hold on for dear life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my investment portfolio, which is down 20K is up 2K today. Which I haven't seen my investment portfolio be up in what feels like 3 months. So
Yeah.
even green days are usually like $200. So today's an insane big green day for me in terms of investment portfolio. And then you add that to the 1K profits and trading. It's like a nice little bump in the portfolio.
Nice.
But yeah, it's keeping and it's holding on to any profits that seems to be so difficult. I've like a few steps green and then either one big step backwards or then a few big or steps back again. So I've I'm just kind of trending in this like no man's land, which is getting kind of exhausting, but that's just how it is, that's just how it is as a trader. Sometimes you have those very poor months that just kind of drag on for a while. It's kind of what we're in.
I feel like for me, it's so shitty because I never really had any kind of actual streak that lasted more than like 3 months. So like every single time something bad happens, like I'll do good for a month, and something bad happens, and I just immediately revert back to, oh, I definitely am not a profitable trader. I'm not that good. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not consistent yet, whatever. And then I just like go on this spiral of like changing my system and trying to do different strategies and doing all this bullshit. And it's like, oh my God, when is it ever going to end? I feel like I need like a 6 month, just like, how to trade. So here's 6 months of data to show you that you can trade. And then after that, if something bad happened, I wouldn't be like, oh, my whole world is going to explode,
Yeah, it definitely made a huge difference once I had some profits in the rear view mirror. And I kind of was like, okay, well, it's, I'm like confirmed that I can be a pro trader. Like it's a fact now. The question is, just how long do I want to keep doing it and how hard do I want to push it? But like the basic question, is day trading, does it work? Is it checked off, which is, yeah, I think, man, yeah, if we can get you there, it'll be that. I mean, I think it's already basically there because you're not really losing money anymore. And you at this point, you just need something to click. And I don't think you're that far off, but I know we've had this conversation several times. So I know it's like when you're in it, it's just a slugfest.
Yeah. I've been I don't know if I told anyone this yet about how Lance Brightstein posted like this thing, and I'm in like a Discord with a bunch of new people, and
yeah, you told us last pod.
Yeah, they're all like super high level traders, and this one dude, like some of them have had like courses, and like this one guy's been trading since like 2003 and shit. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like still sucking my mom's titties back then, but oh, sorry, I just throw that in there. But
all good.
This guy,
healthy way to do it.
This guy, he's been helping me a lot, and he's just really like, a lot of these people are. It's really fascinating whenever you talk to someone who's really good at trading, and then they like care to even help. It's like, damn, that's kind of nice. There's some fucking hope in the world. But a lot of them are giving me like really good advice and like really important. They all say, oh, I'm right there. Everyone fucking tells me that shit. But like for some reason, I just can never actually get over the little hump. But hopefully soon. We'll see.
What's
up? What's up?
What's up, bro?
Tom with the fresh haircut as well.
Colby's got the haircut. I see that.
Tom had to cut his hair after he was shorting the SPY today and lost his entire account.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't trade the SPY today.
I know.
I got burnt so many times on the SPY.
Yeah, every time you jump in my Discord, I'm like, ah, shit. Here we go.
Yep.
Small caps are terrible.
What's up, Danny?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's everyone doing?
Woo. Pretty good for this market. I think we're doing all right. It's nice to see the investment portfolio up for the first time in what feels like months. So.
Yeah, nice little bounce on the SPY.
Yeah, crazy. And I feel like the NASDAQs are even more aggressively up. So since I'm kind of tech heavy in my investment portfolio, which is really dumb of me, I'm at least getting a little bit of a relief rally for once.
I was working on building into a position on TQs the other week, and unfortunately my 300 share position that I had bought into on that, I got stopped out at like, oh God, and now it's at 39. I got stopped out at like 35 because it was last week as it was bottoming into like 34, 35, and I was trying to get into a bigger position there. I still have some, but only a quarter of what I was trying to get into. And then now it's had that nice bounce, so I kind of missed that most likely, but oh well.
Yeah, it's not a nice feeling buying high in this market because it feels like every time you buy high, you get slammed on.
Yeah,
a little bit like SMX.
Yeah, I can tell you a thing or two about SMX. I went from I was chopping around on it through the morning, and I got caught in that flush on the what was it? I'm just arranging my windows and stuff right now because I just got off that other meeting. So on the 10:30 candle, I got caught on that flush for like a 20-cent loss.
Oof.
I was already down like 950 on it. It put me down 1500. And then just like PRZO yesterday, and I think there might have been another one. Like I keep seeing stocks doing the same kind of action, a really nasty rejection right into a really obvious support level, and then just a total reclaim. So I went really heavy into that push back up. I
Are you talking
bought,
about a 10 like 29?
yeah, well, it was the red candle at 10:30.
Yeah, okay, that there I see it now.
Max. I took a 20-cent loss there on like 2,700 shares, put me down 1,500-ish. And then I see it bottom out and start creeping back up. And I'm like, this is what they're doing lately. So I took like 3,300 shares at 320. I held them. I added at 338 or so. So I had 5,500 shares that I sold at
Wow.
360. So I'm green 160 on it. So I hit like
Wow.
a $1,700 trade on that, which is great. I'm green at least. I wish that I hadn't been so red first, but it is what it is. Just try to do better tomorrow.
That kind of trade recently just happened to me last week, where we had a bit of a flush. I took like an $800 loss or something, and then it was like literally just like this. We crawled up and held here, and then this candle started moving higher, and I was like, this is BS. And I don't know if it was FOMO revenge or whatever, but I had the same thought in my head. I was like, I've seen this several times lately. I had a feeling it wasn't going to hold, but it was at least going to try to break a high a day. So I jumped in, bought high here for the break of like 340, different ticker, different price, but ultimately it did the same thing, and it broke up, and then I made back my exact loss that I just lost here. But yeah, it's sporadic trading.
Yeah, I
But
did really
it's good
bad.
that you had the confidence, and then you recognize the pattern, and you jump right back in. It's
Yeah.
when that happens, it's like, am I being revengeful, or is this actually making sense? It's a
Yeah, it's a
fine
really
line.
fine, it's a fine line, it's a fine balance. But I was like, I think that we've been seeing this lately. It was the fact that it bottomed out so hard right against the level that it had been bouncing off of. And we had the bottoming tails at 934, 959, 1021. And when it came into those levels, like right around 305, there were no big buyers in there. So to me, that just looks like a big hidden buyer, like probably a market maker accumulating there.
Right.
So it bounced off that level and started setting in a green candle and then a bigger green candle. And I'm like, this is it.
This is the
So I
end.
took the bigger position down at 320. I think it was 323 actually. And it held up. And so I'm like, I'm right so far. Like this is the type of thing. And it bounced right back up into the 340s at that point. So I'm like, this is the type of trade that either I add here and I make a little profit and I stop out for a couple cents loss on the ad, but overall win, or this is the part where it goes flying. So
Yeah.
I think it was smart enough. I just need to try to. Yesterday, I did a really good job of just hanging in there on PRZO until
Hectic.
until it made that move to 285. It was a long time frame wedge. It was chopping around a ton, and here I can show my charts because I have the lines and stuff
Yeah, it might be more
that
relevant.
I was looking at on it. It was chopping around a ton all morning, but there was this really clear resistance line right here. And every time it
yeah.
sold off hard, it found a really clear support line, and it started setting in higher lows. Like from here, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Every single one was a higher low.
And then it
And
flattens
so
out.
we had this kind of false breakout here, and then it did the same thing. It had a false breakout, and then it started creeping back up like right away.
Wow, great
Um,
observation.
Same exact thing as SMX today. So this is what informed me on the SMX trade today. So I took this one, actually, unfortunately, not as much size as I would have wanted to. I got 3,000 shares at 237, and I wanted to get an ad for the break of 250, but it went from like 246. I rewatched the video that I had. It went straight from 246 to like 256, 260s, 270s to the halt level. So I had 3,000 shares and I got 40 cents out of it. And I was starting actually on that one at like plus 100 on it. So I did a better job yesterday of keeping myself in the game in to be able to have a chance of like having a solid green trade or a solid green day. And then what I did well yesterday and today is realizing and internalizing that right now there is literally no such thing as just a pullback. Like you hit the halt level, it was pinned, it couldn't halt, and then sellers grab a hold of it. Because all that this is maybe you're squeezing some retail traders, but the bigger market makers and bigger players, they're not squeezed yet. Maybe if you halt up and then gap up higher over 3 and then keep going, maybe they get squeezed. But until then, they're still in control, and that's super clear from the rest of the action. And then exact same thing on SMX. I hit this huge win and didn't take another trade on it. So I have been doing that well this week. And then right after SMX, the exact same thing happened on SPCB.
Which is hitting all-time highs right now.
Yeah, I actually just looked at that, and that's potentially interesting. But let's see. So SPCB just did this kind of kill candle, and then immediate reclaim of it. And so when I saw this, and this was at 743, it was literally 10 minutes after SPCB did the exact same thing. I took shares, not as much of a position as I probably wanted to, but I had like 4,000 shares at 81. And my goal really was just like, maybe we see if we can top out here, but with this reclaim, I bet we're going to go higher. And I joked, I was like, I bet we'll get one. And then it squeezed, and I got a nice little trade there too.
I didn't get any SPCB in today. I kind of wanted it, but I called it before it really did its move. I just wanted to lock in some profits.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious on it now. I'm going to mark out some levels, and
it does
maybe if it
not look
holds
bad,
one.
not at all. The 5 minute, the 2 minute, it's all, even the 1 minute looks kind of good. It just has those really vicious pullbacks.
To me, the 5 minute is extended, especially as it's forming this big topping tail here. But if it can hold over 1, and then especially if it could consolidate in like this area, like 101 to 106 ish, then that could be interesting. I think we're about to see what the bigger players want it to be doing, because we're right towards the end of this 5 minute candle.
Yeah, it's got that support at 1 for now.
Yeah, that's generally the time when the bigger players put it where they want it to be, is like towards the end of the 5 minute periods.
These tickers have nice volume.
They do, but it's a lot of volume to both sides. It's a lot of selling too. So it makes it really choppy and not super easy to trade.
Yeah, and a lot of these pullbacks, like you said earlier, they don't exist. They're just like these massive
Yeah.
trunks that just freaking go straight down. So it's really hard
Yeah.
buying pullbacks, I've
I'm
found.
done. I'm done buying pullbacks right now.
Yeah.
I had a really rough week last week. Bad start to October, down like 14,000 last week
Oh
on
my
top
word.
of the 19,000 red September. So I'm kind of reevaluating my goals for the year, which is like if I could average 500 to 1,000 a day through the rest of the year, that would put me back over my all-time highs in the account, my profit for the year. It'd be in a really solid place. And I know that all I really have to do that is just try to avoid getting killed on some of those worst trades or some of that price action that sucks you in and just keeps you trading.
That's really what it is. It's like a lot of temptations out in this market right now that are just very bad risk reward. Like usually I'm very consistent trader. I'll have like, $7 to $1,200 green days or something like kind of consistent. And then my red days are kind of smaller. And then like my curve is pretty consistent. But man, like in this market for the first time, I'm having like, $200 green day, $700 green day. And then all of a sudden $2,000 red day, which like that's just reverse consistency compared to usual. And I've been finding it very difficult, some of these trades, because I mean we're talking about these candles that are just out of nowhere 15% down, and you have a 10K position size, whack, and then you get maybe a little bit on tilt, and then you do one more bad trade, it eats you alive. It makes it hard to even stick to your max loss because you just shoot right by it. You're just like, boom, there it goes. That was my max loss. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to call it here at 1,500, or you'll be like, well, let me take like at least, let me get back to my max loss. But of course, that's defeats the whole purpose of a max loss. Yes, that's been my experience. How about you, Tom?
For me, I haven't really sweat in a long time, and I'm craving that feeling of sweating in a trade. I'm just, I need like a nice solid setup where I can just size up into it, really push myself. But man, like my conviction is at an all-time low right now, and I just can't really find anything that's worth me putting on that level of risk where, I'm sweating in a trade. Even though it's where I feel like I need to be at right now with my sort of journey of where I'm at now. It's where I need to be pushing like my horizon as far as share size. But I can't get to that level right now. I just don't have that conviction to be able to put on that size when I need to right now. It's just, very low quality setups. So I just kind of been just going sideways, waking up, trading for 30 minutes an hour, get some small green, walk away, do the same thing over and over again. But, I'm not really, pushing my comfort zone right now, which, I can protect my account during this type of period. But I know that is the horizon that I need to be pushing at some point. And, I'm just tied between either waiting for a better market or if, just, I don't know, just do it right now when the conviction is low and see what happens. So that's what I'm sort of grappling with right now.
My thoughts on that is that's totally fine. And you're doing a lot better than me because I'm in like a $32,000 hole right now, which I could have avoided if I had backed off earlier. But also I've been doing the thing that paid me really nicely for 9 months. It takes more than just a couple of weeks to adjust what you're doing from that. So I don't fault myself too much for that. But like, for example, and I was saying in chat yesterday, like the two main things that I've realized lately, number one is there's no such thing as just a pullback in this market. Number two is we have been seeing kind of an imbalanced outsized move pretty much at least once a day lately. And if you can oversize on those moves, then that's what I'm trying to do, at least. And unfortunately today I was not positioned well to like put myself onto a really nice green day with that trade, but at least with SPCB and SMX I'm still up 400, so not bad. But just waiting for that imbalanced move that's really obvious could be something to consider, um you know, bet sizing on. But other than that, I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with just being conservative right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I totally agree with that, Danny. Here, I'll give you an example of how I got green today, pretty much right out of the back. And like there's not a lot of good moves today. So yeah, bet sizing on the good ones is really the secret. So SMX popped up and I was looking at it. And at first I wasn't sure about it because it was only up like, I don't know, 40, 50% when I started looking at it. So I quickly went back and I was like, how did it perform last time? And I was like, okay, we had one pullback and then it kept ripping one more time really hard. So I was like, all right, let's go at least for the first pullback when you're still kind of scared. You're thinking, is it going to work? And then, you don't have that FOMO yet. And usually by the time you have FOMO, that's when you get flushed into. So at this point, I'm more scared than FOMO. So I was like, okay, this is probably going to work. The last one had a nice pullback. So I actually sized pretty decently into this one. You'll see 3.6 thousand shares. And this was like a 15, 16% candle. Like what the heck? So I was instantly up 500 or $600. It was like 550 something. And on this one trade, then I made a little bit more here. And then it started doing this. And I didn't buy this pullback because last time the second pullback just had that elephant trunk, flush. And I was just like, nah. So I technically missed this huge, this was even bigger. This was like a 20 something percent, 30% candle, or maybe not fully 30% if it starts somewhere here, but 25%, and then like a full move of 30%. So, I could have made way more money on this one, but it just wasn't worth the risk tolerance because like Danny was saying, like these moves just don't last. So for me, the risk reward on this one just wasn't there, even though it ended up working. So that's that. And then the market opened. But yeah, that's why I sized so hard on this one, because I was like, I don't want to take this with a 500 share starter size and see how it goes, because this might be really the only move today. Like I didn't know what was going to happen the rest of the day, but we've been seeing like a lot of, you get one or two good moves and the rest are just like really crappy. And then this one, I should have done a lot better on, but I tripped over myself. I was looking for a morning panic and I actually got it, but I only got it with like 500 shares and it popped up 5% and I sold. And, I made a little bit more. And then I went for this secondary morning panic, but I didn't do this one really well because it popped up here and I didn't sell because I was looking for the full on break, and then pulled back. And then I closed some, then pulled up and I bought some. So this got really messy here. And then I think I did one of these a little bit better. But ultimately I made, here I made like maybe $300 more very stressfully. But it was really that first move, that bet sizing right here where I was like, this is that kind of perfect setup, and I don't have that FOMO yet, which probably means it's not going to flush on me because I'm kind of scared right now. So let me size into this one. This is an example of exactly what Danny was just saying. Kind of be patient, wait for that good opportunity. And then after I was up, I was kind of like, well, I could probably give back profits now for the next 45 minutes. So I'm just going to close my TUS because this is not the market for me to stress in. That's what I wish I did last time. And I Wednesday or Thursday, I don't know, I was up $700, and before you know it, I was down 2.3 thousand. And I was just like so annoyed at myself. Not about the money, but just because it's like, why am I over trading in this market? Because it's so easy to give back profits and get on tilt with this price action.
I screwed myself on Friday trading MSS recent IPO. Both days, I think Thursday and Friday last week, both days that it had a nice move to the upside, I had just gone to the gym in attempt to avoid the chop in the market. And so I took a trade on it from the gym on my phone on Thursday. I got stuck in a halt down. It actually opened like nearly flat, and I got out pretty much break even on it. And then Friday, it did the same thing. It was popping right back up to 11s. And so I bought the pullback somewhere around 10 or something like that. And I got stuck in that halt down with 1,700 shares from like 970
Oh,
and I took like a $3,600 loss on that, and I just didn't need to. But
just didn't need. Yep.
it is what it is. You learn lessons, and a year from now, I will have so much more profit that won't matter. But lesson learned. That was really the moment where I was like, this market just there's no such thing as a pullback, just a pullback.
Oh yeah.
If sellers realize that that the stock isn't continuing to squeeze yet because the buyers don't have conviction or whatever, or market players are in it that don't want it to keep going, and buyers don't have the conviction to keep pushing, the sellers are just winning right now. And that's fine. You just let them win. Eventually they won't.
Eventually they won't.
Eventually they'll get squeezed. Not now, but one day. Maybe not today.
It definitely
Maybe
seems
not tomorrow.
to be taking a lot of experience. It definitely seems like a lot of experience to just to recognize that one or two candles of the whole day that are going to be able to make your day.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of experience to be able to recognize that. And I think in a way, for any beginner traders that are starting, I think this is actually probably the best market to learn in, because you're pretty much learning the fundamentals, and you're not just learning that, oh, just because the RSI is oversold, it has to now reverse, or it's a bull flag, so it has to go up, like we all learned in 2020.
Yeah,
I mean, you're definitely
management.
learning more. Yeah, you're learning risk management, and more so, actually reading the depth of market rather than just chart patterns.
Yeah. I wanted to share this as well. To add to that risk management, what Tom was just talking about, and also what Danny was talking about, that not just are there no pullbacks, but there's sometimes no bounces either. So like here, like
that's what I mean.
Yeah, once it sells off, like you said, like once the buyers are gone, like this, like I was waiting for a little bit of like a bounce back to the 9 EMA on the 1 minute or something, but it didn't happen. Luckily, I cut my losses at one point somewhere here, or I think I cut here, and then I bought a little bit more here, and then I cut again, and then I had like 3 or 4 backside losses in a row. And then I was like, Alex, you're an idiot. Why are you trading backside, you freaking moron? Like, I never trade backside. No wonder I'm down $2,300. Like, but I was just a little bit stubborn because I was like, this sell-off is so extreme. Typically they do bounce a little bit, but once this ticker was dead, it was just like dead. I mean, look at this 5 minute. This ticker hasn't even had a relief bounce yet. It's disgusting. Yeah, so that's where I gave back. I made like 700 here, and then I literally just gave back 3,000, or
I think I did the same thing on that, and BNOX last week too. There was a day, maybe the day before that. It might have been that day that it had a spike. What day was that?
Here's a strong sell. Oh wow, look at that nasty one. Yeah.
Yeah, not that day. There was a day that BNOX had a nice move up, and I made 2,000 on the move up, and then I tried to trade the consolidation. And before you realize it's on the backside,
that's
all your profit's gone. I went from up 2,000 to down 600 on it by the end of the day, just over trading it. So that VSME, all that stuff just really reinforces there's no such thing as like just a pullback right now. A fast dip, maybe. Like that's a good observation for the current market. I'm not touching IPOs lately because look at them. They've been just awful.
What was the big IPO last week or the week before? What was that one? Open
there was one. I don't remember.
Instacart?
Yeah, Instacart. How's that one doing?
I have no idea. I lost a lot of money on it and I stopped looking at it.
I know that feeling. What's the ticker for that one? It's CART?
I think I was down 5,000 or so on CART. Freaking garbage.
Anyone remember the ticker? Instacart.
Yeah, it's just CART.
Yeah, I think it's just CART.
Oh, for some reason I must have put a D or something. Card. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I'm not sharing. Um, yeah, okay. Well, it's had a little bit of a bounce today, no surprise. But wow. Yeah, exactly. Once it dies, it dies.
Yeah.
Today obviously everything's up. Um, but how low does it have to go? It kind of feels like a 7.5 billion valuation might be too high in this market.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing.
Yeah, there's no point in touching IPOs until they've bottomed out.
Yeah, like consistently where, it like does this for a long time and you can just
But
tell,
and
okay.
then even still though, unless it's like blowing away those levels, look at how many levels shorts have to add off of. And that's just retail shorts. Like
That's true.
until it starts breaking 43, 45, there's no reason why market makers would get out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just across the board space. I mean, there was a long time space was holding this floor, like a really long time. Anything like $3 to $5 was like a great buy. And then, then it broke it and then it just went way down. Playboy, I traded a few times. I don't know why this thing caught on my radar, but I traded it so many times in this area and I was just range trading this one. I made a few thousand, but then I ended up giving back most of it here. Actually, I gave back more than I made. Because I thought it was going to like find bottom here, and then all of a sudden it broke $1 and just kept selling off. I still have a small size in it, but yeah, these tickers are pretty much all going in one direction. I think Playboy is pretty much the worst of them because this company might actually go bankrupt. So I wouldn't recommend it for anyone else. I wouldn't even recommend it for myself, but just tech right now is it's a lot. Colby, actually, before Danny came in, we were kind of actually before Danny and Tom came in, we were kind of talking a little bit about your group, and that the people are really kind of sharing a lot of information and helping you out, and it's been a good experience. What are maybe some of the lessons you've learned from these new traders that are been trading for 10, 15, 20 years even, you said?
Honestly, the first lesson is if you're in a Discord and you're the best trader in there, get the fuck out of that Discord. You should never want to be the best trader in your Discord. You should always try to find people that are way better than you because it's just so hard to be talking to unprofitable traders while you're an unprofitable trader and trying to bounce ideas off each other. It just, first of all, you're not going to trust anything they say because they don't make money either. You don't trust yourself because you don't make any money, you know. But these guys, they are like proven, the one dude, he's been trading for like 20 years and he's been stuck at like low six figures for like 7 years.
Yeah.
But to even do that is just impressive in the first place. And and he's trading like super, not even large size. It's very odd, but yeah, it's just really interesting and cool to have a bunch of people that actually are all trying to like do DRCs and they're all reviewing and we're all contributing to each other and we're all like being nice about it. Like it's so common to go into a Discord and then someone's like super arrogant. Like traders are like kind of fucking awful. Like, do you guys ever realize that? Like traders are kind of shitty people because we have
Some
to
of
go
them.
through, yeah, we have to go through like so much shit for the first 2.5 to 3 years of trading that once you actually do find a profitable system, you fucking hold that thing like it's your actual baby. And you're like, if you see anyone doing anything else, you're like, no, do this, do this, do this, do this. And you kind of have to realize that like your system is just your system. Everyone else has their own system. You don't have to be like, oh, this is the way it works. This is the only way. And there's a lot of traders get in that kind of mindset where they think that their trade system is the only one that works. And it's just like, how the fuck did you get there? I mean, I understand that 2 to 3 years or 4 or 5 years of losing money and finally finding something, you're going to cherish that shit with everything you have. But it's just kind of weird.
What do
I
you
love
mean
it
by
whenever
DRC
traders are like,
quickly?
hey, I don't know if this is going to help you. This is what I did, though.
Yeah.
Instead of being like,
That's
dude,
that's always my approach. Because number one, being part of the team at Warrior, the meeting that I was on, the reason I was a few minutes late, we had an annual compliance meeting, and they make it very clear that I am not supposed to be giving financial advice. I am an educator, and my job is to say, um, this is my experience. This is what I have learned. If I say I recommend you do this, or I like this stock because if you put 1,000 shares into it here, you will make $300 or whatever. That is very bad. So like that's just legal issues for one, but then also just as a teacher, everybody's going to find their success in the market, and or not, most likely not, but you're never going to connect with someone or help them really unless you're helping them find their own way, because everybody is different. Like just the four of us here, none of us trade exactly the same, even just among the four of us. So it doesn't do anybody a service to be like, this is what you should be doing because this is what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to, yeah, it's tricky, especially just, like, it's just funny that as a trader, the only reason we're doing this shit is because we don't want to fucking listen to anyone anyway. So it's kind of hard to like go on a Discord and some random guy's like, here's my P&L and this is what I think about trading, and you're immediately just like, who the fuck is that guy? But who the fuck am I is really the question. So
yeah, I always pay attention to what other successful people are doing. That doesn't mean I'm going to start doing their strategy. Like I follow some guys on Instagram who play SPY options at the open every day, and they kill it. Like
those guys are crazy.
I don't know that I've ever seen less than $1,000. It's like 1,000 to like $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 every day. They have a strategy that works for them. That I don't look at SPY at the open. It would probably take me a while before I got to a strategy or got to an understanding of how the SPY moves, especially at the open and at certain levels, before I started making any profit on that. I'm already a profitable trader. Why would I spend the time to do that on a totally different thing, for one? And then, I don't know that I ever would find consistent success doing that with a different strategy is the other thing.
Yeah.
I think it's always good to like take inspiration from people like that or where you want to be, but you have to lean into what works for you for sure.
Yeah, it helps a lot to study other people's strategies, but it never helps to try to copy anyone ever. If you ever do that, you're immediately fucked. You'll never make any money. Even I forget the one guy who said that quote. Maybe it was Mark Douglas, where he was like, you can teach someone, I could put my strategy and roles into a newspaper and still nobody would make money from it, because it doesn't matter how much you tell people what you're doing, they'll never be able to do it unless they are you. So
pretty much.
Yeah. And Alex told me that a while ago as well.
Yeah, when we were in New York City, I think it was. But yeah, I mean, like there was a time I thought, like, is it weird if I'm sharing all my strategies on YouTube? And then I was like, no, because no one's gonna ever click that same like button at the same time. As silly as that sounds, everyone's gonna have different indicators and different things and strengths and weaknesses and different personalities that tell you when like this feels right for me personally. And this is actually a hard conversation with a lot of non-traders. They'll be like, can't like a robot do it? Yeah, sure it can. Or like, can't anyone just copy your strategy and get saturated? It's like, yeah, that can happen, but it's like this can is so big because it's like there's so many variables and it's just nearly impossible. I mean, even if two bots are trading the same exact strategy, they're probably going to get different fills. And there's so many variables. So like, yeah, good luck copying somebody. It might work once or twice. I think we've all been there where, you're watching someone like Ross Cameron and you're like, oh, let me try to copy trade on the live stream. And then you're like, wait, he's up 15K and I'm down, $150.
And there are so many disclaimers all over on his channel and even in the chat every day, like, don't copy trade me. Most traders lose money. Trading is difficult. Trading is risky. Oh, yeah. And then even just like talking with Lawrence, like an algo trader, even algos go into drawdowns.
Yeah. That was my big problem with algos, because that's actually how I got into some trading again after like my long sabbatical like years ago from New York City. I was like helping some people build algos. And then I got really into building my own stuff. And I was just like, wait a second, I'm spending hours every day building an algo. And like, I'm not sure if there's like a good risk reward here or like return ROI here, I should say, because what I've noticed with all these people and these firms that we're building at, is that even if they get something to work within like a short period of time, it doesn't work. And they're spending so much energy on maintaining the code. So
Yeah.
I found it much better just to just come in and trade for like 60 minutes and then like head out. But yeah, I mean, everyone's gonna have to make that decision themselves.
I think the main difference only is where do you want to be spending your energy, because you can spend your energy learning the strategy or you can spend your energy tweaking your code. The pros with having an algo trade for you is that you don't have to manually manage your trades and emotions in your trades and that kind of stuff. But it's not like you're not spending probably the same or more amount of time to manage your trading. It's just maybe
Yeah,
you have less emotions in it, or maybe not even. I don't know. It depends.
yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, thinking about Lawrence, like, and we're talking all the time, and he spends a lot of time coding his algos. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely not a time winner. If anything, like you said, I think it's a time loss. But yeah, the big upside, even Lawrence mentioned it, is like your emotions are more out of the
Yeah.
equation. Like you're probably not going to have one of those up 700 down double max loss, because you shouldn't even be going
Right.
past max loss, because it should be stopping. Although there are always flukes, and that's what I've noticed. Like there's like with these bots, before you know it, it just starts, it breaks and starts doing crazy stuff. So there's no perfect world in the trading, and it is kind of fun, and that's I think why we do it. And I'm actually, originally I was a coder. I learned how to code. So like, if anything, I should have went the algo route. But yeah.
Algos scare me because I feel like it takes you, like, I feel like it might take, like, if you like, if I just make a simple algo, like, what if I'm profitable for like 6 months and then it just like disappears forever? It just never works
Yeah.
again. Like, that kind of shit scares me. Like, at least with discretionary, like, if I get a max loss, I suck at trading. Like, I know I suck. I did something wrong. Like, whereas if my algo, every day I'm just kind of like waiting to see what the monthly return is at the end of the month. I don't give a shit about day-to-day stuff. So you're kind of just like at the mercy of, is this going to work? Maybe it'll work for 2 months. And then maybe you realize that was like a complete waste of time, or maybe it works for a year and it was a complete waste of time. That shit scares me for
The market is
algos.
always changing. So you're always going to be updating your code. And it's like, do you do that weekly, monthly, based on the results? Or do you just trade the markets manually and adjust daily or weekly or monthly? Or,
Yeah.
To me, there's not much difference.
Yeah, I feel like as an algo trader, you're more of like running a actual business where you're trying to like find high margin return on like like your product. Basically, your product is your algo. You're trying to find high margin return, whatever, on that. Whereas us, we're kind of more of like, if we don't treat this as like a professional, like I was telling Danny this, what we just say in the Instagram comments, but I was saying that if we don't treat ourselves like professional athletes, like we can ruin so much progress just because like we had a shitty, like we drank last night, or we like something happened and we're not exercising, or like we're eating bad, or just stupid things like that that can impair our decision making skills. Like, if obviously we know that, you guys are showing me these tickers you're trading, and there's literally like 2 pops all day, and it's like a fucking huge, just, you have to get in and like know that's gonna work to be able to make that decision on the, like, it's like this, like you're waiting for 2 hours and just something comes by and it's just like, bam, you have to fucking go immediately. That is extremely hard. Like, I don't think anyone realizes how fucking hard that actually is. Like, that is a serious skill to be able to do that. And if you're even just 1% off mentally or physically or anything, oh my God, you're not going to fucking be able to see that shit at all. And then let's say you buy it a little too late and you bought it like 50% above where you are. Like, let's say you're trying to buy it halfway through the run up and you bought it like 3/4 of the way on accident. And then bam, comes down, you get stopped out, shoots back up, and you're like, oh, fuck. do it again. Bam, you're at max loss. And it's like that 1% change is a $2,000 swing, right? Like,
Yeah.
so let's say you're super on it today, you get the 1K win. Well, tomorrow you're off by 1%. If let's say you lose $1,000, or that's a whole $2,000 difference compared to being up 1,000. Now you're down 1,000.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy, man.
I was thinking what you were just saying about trying to buy in at like 50%, you accidentally get in at 75. It made me think of what Alex said earlier about looking at the stocks in the morning. And what was it, SMX today, when you were buying it, it was up like 30 or 40%. And then when it was coming into the open, it was up like 100%. I would actually much prefer to be trading something coming into the open at like 50, 60% up on the day, because when we have these stocks that are up 100% coming into the open, all you see is rejections and profit taking on them when the open hits. That is the only thing that has been happening lately, is just rejections on those stocks that are already up too much coming into the open. So there's that's happening. And then also recently, if we do see a move coming into the open, it'll be at like 926. You have a nice run up when the market volume on that stock would have been like a third what it would have been if that move had just waited 4 minutes until the market opened. You would have had so much more volume and such a better resolution.
That's SPCB on the dot. 9.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at it early, but that's exactly what's happening lately. Yeah, I'd have that run up. It's like, can't you just wait 4 more minutes and then look at the volume on like the highest volume candle before the open? I mean, in the couple minutes before, like 200,000, 250,000 compared to 1.8 million on the first 1 minute candle, 6 times higher, 7 times higher.
Pure profit taking, huh?
Yeah. So that's also something that I'm being careful of lately.
Ticker stuck below the 180 SMA. I really do prefer when tickers are trading over the 180 SMA. It gives you a nice little blue sky.
The 180 SMA must be probably pretty similar to the 200 EMA.
Yeah, they're all kind of in that same ballpark, give or take a little bit of a wiggle.
Yeah. We are seeing a lot of stocks that have been beat down for a long time popping up to the 200 EMA or towards that area lately. And eventually some of them will start breaking over it. And then they're going to have a lot of potential upside room.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that's going to happen, but
it's going to happen at some point. Yeah. Large caps, I think, also still have a lot of center stage attention.
Yeah.
Dude, I was looking at just these large caps today. Man, what the hell? Like, how did we fumble this shit so badly? Like, do you guys remember whenever Netflix did its second like penny stock drop? Do you guys remember this?
What do you mean by a penny stop drop? Are you talking? Yeah, okay, I see it now. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, pull that shit up.
Unless you want to pull it up.
No, you do it.
Yeah, that was a nice one, huh?
So that's whenever Bill Ackman lost like $200 million, right? What was the low? Like 130?
Yeah, a little more, I guess, unless I'm not on it.
Or all I want to say is just something that's just hilarious. There's like 7 buttons on my controller for my TV. Up, down, left, right, volume, and fucking Netflix. Okay. If there's a fucking button on your controller that says Netflix and they're the number one streamer on the entire fucking planet, and in like 2 months they lost like 85% of their value, buy the fucking stock, brother. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's actually life advice right there. And that's a good point.
Like, what the fuck? I'm looking at it, I'm like, why did I not put my net worth into Netflix?
But like, how do you scale into that? And how do you avoid giving back your net worth before you find the bottom? That's the trick.
That's the hard part. That's
for sure. Like, you could have easily bought that first big flush.
You could have easily bought any of those support levels and just given back everything.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Netflix too is it was the first out of the FANGs to just really crash. Like it crashed. Like
Was it?
Apple, Microsoft, Google, they did not do anything like that. It wasn't even
Well,
close.
when did that crash from 700 start? Was that at like after
Right.
COVID or
This is November.
yeah, so that was after the peak of COVID.
Yep.
Yeah.
So people probably got outside a little bit more, started spending money on other things, or probably got laid off and had to adjust where they were putting their money.
Yeah, I think that's when Netflix started having like back-to-back lower numbers of subscribers.
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
like, come on, really? Like,
And
I
then
mean,
they
obviously
started
it's
making
easy.
terrible business decisions from there.
Yeah.
It's easy to look back and be like, oh, I should have bought that. Like, of course, yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I tried that with Coinbase, and sometimes it works when I swing traded it, but sometimes, it's you're just averaging down for months, and then you're just like, oh, but I thought it already sold off 50%. Just because doesn't mean it can't sell off another 50% and then another 50%, another. That's it's just like, even if the stock goes from 100 to $1, it doesn't mean it can only go down 1 more percent. No, it could go down another 99%. So
the thing that's really interesting is like Netflix is very asymmetrical in that opportunity, specifically this one. Like Coinbase is still related to crypto. Like the crypto market cap, isn't it like less than Apple? Like all of crypto together? It's like something.
Apple market cap is insane.
Yeah, like the whole entire crypto market total, every single ticker that exists is like less than Apple, I think, or something weird like that.
That wouldn't surprise me.
So Apple's at 2.8 trillion right now, and then you got, let's say, Bitcoin at 500, and then I think Ethereum's not too far away.
Yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin is 500 billion, I would assume that including all of the rest, you'd be under 3 trillion.
Oh hell yeah, not even close. Yeah, I bet it's like maybe a little over 1 trillion for the whole entire crypto market. So probably it's like Coinbase is still somewhat related to that, whereas it's like Netflix, the FANG stocks, like whenever these are dropping, especially Netflix specifically, just because like once it does that second drop, like that type of return is so asymmetric. It's like 700 to 100 on one of the best tickers literally in the history of humanity. It's like, I just
once you start seeing those signs of the bottom, like higher lows, then you can maybe start taking a position and maybe add into it as it's confirmed and moving up. But before that happens, not a great idea.
Yeah, unless you're like, obviously if it's like a 5-year hold, 10-year hold, buy it fucking anywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter, but like, I don't know, it's just, I was just thinking of that this morning and I was like, wow, how dumb was I not to just put a little bit of money into that or anything at all? I mean,
we were talking about this a couple of months back though, and because I think we were writing here like, hey, some of these big stocks are down 70, 80, 90%, like we basically have to buy them. I actually did buy some and I made a good chunk, but then they pulled back and I bought some more, and then they really pulled back again, and then I kind of went back to flat. So it's a tough game.
Yeah, it was just funny to me because
I remember Tesla at 100. Tesla was at 100 at that point. Probably that same time that Netflix dropped. And I was like, oh wow, Tesla's at 100. All right, I want under 100. Next day it's at 150, and it's like never came back down.
I missed it.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
it's like Nvidia. Like Nvidia is just, that's the craziest ticker ever.
I made some money on Nvidia. It was good. It was good to me. I don't have a great position on it now though. I have a very small position on it from 450 average. One of my best investments ever so far has been, I'm holding 1 share of Ferrari stock from like 2 years ago, and I'm up 50% on it.
Nice.
Just as any self-respecting Italian, I just had to own some Ferrari.
That's funny.
What's the ticker for that? It's like
it's
a
Race
European company, right?
Or
no, the ticker is Race.
Oh. NV. Okay.
So anytime I can go into a Ferrari showroom and just be like, yeah, I'm a shareholder.
Yeah.
You have any cars that I can drive? How
Imagine.
many shares do you have? Oh, not. I mean, I have like one, but
Yeah. That's a nice kind of investing. I want to do a little bit of more like that, like Peter Lynch style, like invest in
it's
like
like I like the company.
yeah, like just buy like, oh, you like Tesla, and you were
Yeah.
a Tesla fanboy 10 years ago, like, or even
Put a little
more.
bit into it, probably. It'll be safe, but
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun way to invest because then you're kind of like, part
yeah,
of like the exciting rally or not rally, but at
like
least
the thing with
yeah,
Ferrari is never going to go out of style.
right.
And unless ownership has like major changes, I don't see them making any like company changing terrible business decisions or anything like that. Like even Lamborghini now is making, they just released their newest what's it called? Revuelto, and it's an all electric, it's not all electric, but it's an electric assisted Lamborghini for the first time, and apparently it's awesome. Like these supercar companies can even switch to electric and they'll be fine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're probably going to be even better because electric is
Yeah,
quicker. So,
yeah.
yeah, wow, what a freaking company, huh? Since 2016 or 2015, maybe even they basically had a 10x move from 30 to 300.
I like the stock. It's a good company.
You can't
Oh
go wrong.
shit! I saw that movie. I
This
saw
is
that movie
not
this weekend.
investment advice
This is
at all. This is not financial advice.
Dumb Money. I saw it with
Do
my
not
dad.
misconstrue it. Yeah, I saw it the other week too.
what
Dude, it was great. I liked it.
was it on
Oh, it was
Netflix?
funny.
I liked it a lot. Yeah. No, not the one on Netflix. The actual movie, like in theaters.
For some reason it's not on theaters here. I can't find it, so I might just like buy it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, it was actually really
Where's
good.
that in
I enjoyed
Germany?
it.
Yeah, sometimes there's things that are not allowed until a
Yeah.
certain time. I mean, usually everything is in the movies at the same time. This is just one of those things. I don't know why. Let me
Yeah.
look it up.
I thought it was pretty entertaining.
It was cool to see
I
the
was
numbers of everything.
I was happy with how they portrayed all of the sides at least.
Yeah.
I'm
I thought
jealous
it
you
was
just watched it.
pretty fair portrayal.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
this is why I
crazy.
can't find it. It's called Schnelles Geld. They changed the name.
Ha!
Okay. Yeah.
For the
Wow.
German audience.
Yeah, for the
That's
German
funny.
audience. I'm gonna definitely watch that. Maybe tomorrow. Oh, yeah, this looks good. There's a movie theater like 3-minute walking distance from my house. I love it. We always go there. So boom.
Is the movie like in German or English?
No, luckily this one is everything's always in original, which is like original language. Thank God. I hate watching dub movies. Even if like I
Yeah.
just watched a Polish movie yesterday with
Yeah.
undertitles, and it was much better because I feel like with actors, they put so much energy in making like emotions and like empathy, or like you feel it through the tonality. And then you have some stupid dub version where it's like the most monotone line you'll ever hear in your life. And you're just like, wow, that just ruined the whole movie.
Bro, or one's
Yeah.
monotone and one's like super fucking energetic or
Yeah.
something.
It's like,
Yeah,
you're going to
someone's like
bed.
dad died and they're like, oh, it like makes no fucking sense.
Dude, they're the worst. The worst.
Dude, Squid Game was the only one that I
Subtitles are
could
the way to
watch.
go.
Yeah, subtitles are the way to go for sure.
Squid Game was so good. I didn't give a fuck at that point.
Yeah.
I never
That's the
watched
only
Squid
one.
Game. Squid Game.
Shit's so good.
I was
It
going
is.
through a breakup and I was like, all I would do in the evening was just like sit on the couch, play guitar, do like healthy things. So I missed Squid Game.
That
That's
probably
funny.
is the right idea. I feel like when you're in breakup mode, the best thing to do is hit the gym.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
get your revenge mode started.
Yeah.
Look what the
a lot
fuck
of
I'm gonna
gym
do
life.
with my fucking life. I'm gonna be a fucking billionaire now.
Not the time to start day trading though.
Holy shit, the SPY just fucking crashed.
No, let me sell everything first.
Ah, damn, I was short this whole move, and that was very nice.
Bail, 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 bail.
This
Oh wow,
ain't a small cap.
it did just crash, huh?
Damn. That's a good win. I almost put it back to green on the day.
You said market crashing?
Yeah.
Well, not really. It just
I
dropped
mean-
like 10 points out of nowhere.
IWM also. What just happened?
What? Okay. Israel defense
Shit.
minister expect to take part.
Something just happened for sure.
Damn, this position's up like, what is that? 25 times.
Paul Tudor Jones warns stocks could plunge with threat of nuclear war,
Ooh.
led by China, Russia, and North Korea. Okay,
I
well,
don't
there's
think
so
we're
much stuff
gonna-
coming out every 1 minute. I don't know which to put value on.
I know.
Holy shit.
Every one of these headlines sounds like the end of the world, and there's a
know.
new one coming out every minute or every.
Nuclear war. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Ultimately erupt into nuclear war. I don't know about that. Like,
Oh shit.
Dang,
I
I
feel
was
like if
finally
there's-
up 2K on my investment portfolio. Now I'm probably back to
yeah.
the
I feel
huge-
like if there's a nuclear war, the whole world knows that there's basically one way that would end. And aside from that, didn't we kind of all agree to not do nuclear war again?
it would make a lot of sense. My brother always says no one's gonna nuke the Keys, so he's fine. But I'm like, Heiko, without
just
air
be a tsunami.
conditioning, you can't live in the Keys. So-
Ah. Damn, that trade put me back to green on the day. I was not expecting that to happen.
Nice, Colby. That makes me happy. See, there it is. There it is.
I did it.
Oops, I accidentally went short.
You took
Ah.
a short on that, Colby?
I was shorting the top because it was rounding off, and this is the third trend day in a row, and that never happened. So I was like, I was using half size though, and I added into it 5 times. So I had 5 micro contracts, so it was like $25 per point, and I made like 16 points, which is like my best win I've had in like months.
Nice. 400.
Yeah, something like that. I was down like 300 though, so
That's like me.
Nice.
Like I made $400 there, so I'm back to like -20.
pretty much.
Oh man.
That's
Yeah, I hit that $1,700 win on SMX today, and I had been like -15-ish the moment before, and I look up at my P&L after I had sold like almost all of my position, and it says like plus 150, and I'm like, well, I guess at least I'm green. That feels good. I looked up, I was like hoping to see a lot more than that, but I gotta not be -1,500 tomorrow before I take a good trade.
Colby, you're not going to let one ride?
No, I don't do that shit.
But
Not
then
anymore.
you always complain in the Discord that, oh, I sold too soon. It keeps going.
Yeah, well, that's
Oh
if I
my
made.
God, I'm done with trading. It's
If
it.
I,
I'm done.
yeah. No, if I was trading
That's
full
funny.
size and I make like 4 points and it goes 10, I'm sad. But if I'm trading with like half size and it goes 16 points, I'm taking that shit. Because 16 points is fucking crazy. That's like,
Yeah,
I mean, that's my
that is
weekly
good.
goal sometimes. So
take the green. Yeah, I would. I mean, it might do a little fake out below VWAP, but is it going to stick? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't fucking care.
It's
I
coming
made the
down
money.
again.
Amen. I don't care. That's
Fuck
literally
this
what
market. Suck my dick.
that was my exact thoughts when I closed TOS today at like 9:45. I was like, are there going to be more opportunities? You know, I don't fucking care.
Exactly. I think that's the same place that I've been at lately too. It's like I just wrote into the chat too at Warrior. My buddy Manoli just chatted in. I'm probably wrapping it up. Choppy day for me. Take care, everyone. I just said same here. Not seeing anything. Small green. Would be sick to be green 2 days in a row.
Nah,
I wrote in my notes, if I'm not allowed to write, I might wrap up in the Discord anymore. I either close my TOS and then I write I called it in the Discord, or I stay trading. So it's like I'm either trading or I'm not. Not this I
No
might wrap
halfway.
it up crap. I write that so many times, and then before you know it, I'm at max loss.
Yeah.
yeah.
No more. I might. If I'm thinking I might, my mind is out of the game. You know,
Yeah.
like that's a sign that I should. And I
Right.
will. and boom.
And there's probably a reason why you're thinking that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Any other thoughts before we go ahead and call it here? I mean, usually we'll do like a game plan going forward. Oh, there's a kitty cat, but I think we already talked about it a little bit. I guess Colby's got his game plans for tonight. I think it
got
looks
a
so
dip.
soft.
Dude, it's so cute. Look at this
I
little bitch.
wish. So I'm allergic to cats and dogs. I
Damn.
grew up with a dog, a family dog, and then when that dog passed away,
Oh,
I was in college and my parents got a new dog, so I had not had exposure to dogs for a while, and I came back and I developed an allergy, and now I'm allergic to cats and dogs, and it sucks because I would really love to have a little buddy.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Mhm.
Damn.
it is.
You gotta
frustrating.
fucking just deal with it and then try to see if
I
it goes
know,
away.
I know. I think that every time. Like I spent the weekend before this one down in LA with some of my friends, and my buddy has a really short hair pit bull mutt. And even with the really short hair, my lungs are like congested, my throat is tighter.
That sucks. I wonder
Every
if there's
time I'm like, maybe this time the exposure, I'll be okay. Exposure therapy. Every
Yeah,
time it's
maybe.
like, nope, actually, you're going to be on manual breathing mode for the weekend.
No more
You
nose.
you should just like take a comb and like get his hair, and every morning you just like smell it for a second.
Yeah.
Let's see if that changes at all. I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know if hormesis works with that. Like I'm also allergic to cats to some degree. Like my brother has two cats, and when I visit him, if it crawls on my face, like I'm gonna be breaking out a little bit. I'm sneezing and stuff. But if I keep my distance, it's usually fine.
If I keep my distance, I can be in the same house and like I'll probably need my inhaler, but I'm not like deathly allergic. It's just uncomfortable and noticeably lower quality of life, which
Oh
sucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you sleep and then you can't
Yeah.
breathe, and then
Yeah.
then you wake up and
That's what I'm talking about. You wake up on manual breathing mode. That's why I
Yeah.
have an inhaler next to my bed.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, that's actually it's not worth it. It's stressful.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna die, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Definitely ruins your trading session.
Yeah. Anyways, game plan. I'm gonna just keep trying to do what I did yesterday and today. I'm gonna try to do a little bit better than I did today. I'm finding that trading price action isn't that good lately. Not very clear, not very fruitful, but we've been seeing those kind of outsized over imbalanced moves at least like once a day lately, and I'm gonna try to see if I can keep catching those.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll just quickly add, basically exactly what you said, kind of what we were talking about earlier with the bet sizing, like a hot move. There's some really good moves that are going up like 30% in a candle.
Yeah.
If you just nail one of those and just close your TOS, like that's it. And I think that's what I'm trying to do. And be careful with those pullbacks, especially once they're on backside, because they will not slow down. They'll only speed up.
I'm not even touching them at this point. If something wants to squeeze through highs and looks good and has the support and a setup and all of that, great.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
run for the woods.
there's no such thing as a pullback right now.
Yep.
And same with me. I'm with you. Just get green and get out. And pretty much if I start getting back off the top, even like 25%, it's just better off just to kind of just take it and run instead of going all the way back to red or break even. And then you just feel like crap because you should have stopped trading. So, and definitely not the market for that to keep trading throughout the whole day.
For me, I just want to make sure that I'm like literally thinking of so like obviously we trade for years, and once we figure out a system, like it's really important to like you want to cherish that system and pretend like it's your fucking child. And I want to go into the market and think like all this work that I've done for the last 3 years is because I have a system. Like now that I have the system, I need to follow it. If I don't follow my system and I try to base my trading off of like intuition or feeling or anything other than data that's strictly right in front of my face, I'm going to lose. So I just want to make sure that every day I go to the market and I'm like thinking Exactly like that. I've spent all this time and energy and effort trying to build a system. Now that I have one, just follow it for like a year. If it doesn't fucking work, then sorry, it's not good. You're not going to be a profitable trader. But for now, that's what I want to do.
No, I get everyone's game plans. It makes a lot of sense. Maybe less with the non-intuition part because I'm a gut trader.
Yeah, with indexes, you just have to because there's just so much bullshit happening. But
I totally feel you there. And with Tom, I actually totally agree with that too, because I've noticed the same. Once I give back like 50%, that's obviously like way too much. But yeah, once I start getting back off the top, I'm really getting on tilt. But that's like usually if I already made a lot. Like if I'm only up $200 and I go back to zero, who cares, But if I'm up 1,000, I go back to 500,000, there's usually something bad going on. And that's the beginning of the end. So it's so hard to wrap up at that point and walk away, though. It's so hard, but it's usually the best time to walk away. Yeah, at least I've noticed. But that's a different statistical topic, I guess, of itself.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Time for some video games. Keep out of trouble.
You
Stay distracted.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good.
Go out for a walk. Go do something. Go to the gym.
Yeah.
Work on some other projects. Stay off the computer, probably.
Yeah.
And shut the fuck up and buy the SPY.
Not investment. Forever. I was literally just reading the like little news release about the nuclear war, and Paul Tudor Jones, chief investment officer of Tudor Investments, issued a bleak outlook, thinks that the U.S. equity markets could plunge 12%.
Buy it.
Yeah.
Let's hope it hits a new all-time high first, so it brings my investment portfolio up. Then I'll liquidate everything.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm out.
Blow off top.
And then we go 100% from that high.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
Later, boys.
All right.
Yeah, it's later.
See you guys.
It's a good one.